we are going to be preparing a spiceless beef with no spices, that is the refined spices. We are not going to use at all. So if you're somebody who don't like spices, kindly please ensure that you watch this video up to the end. And by the way, at the end, I found the spiceless beef to be more tasty as compared to the spiced beef. I once did a video on how you can have a very tasty beef using spices, but this one I'm doing without spices. So kindly please stick up to the end. Ensure you give this video a big thumbs up, and also if you have not subscribed, kindly please ensure that you have subscribed to my channel. The first step will start boiling our meat. Ensure that you have washed your meat nicely so that you can remove those two small bones that are always available in meat. So when you are boiling this meat at this step, don't add in any water. We are just going to put the meat in the cooking pot. It's going to produce its own soup, and then we are going to allow it to simmer until the water has completely dried out. So we are going to put it in the cooking pot and ensure that you spread it nicely in the cooking pot so that they don't lay on top of each other. It will depend on the size of your cooking pot. But then you're going to cover it and allow it to simmer for 3 minutes. You can see that the meat has produced its own soup. Then after the 3 minutes, you're going to put in the crushed ginger and garlic, because you want the meat to absorb much flavor from the ginger and garlic. You know, ginger always produces a very nice taste and a very nice smell of the stew. So we are going to put it at this point so that it mixes up well with the meat and also it absorbs much flavor from ginger and garlic. If you've watched my video up to this point, thank you so much. It is somehow a quarter way, I guess so. Yeah, so ensure that you hit the subscription button, and also don't forget to like the video. And my channel is all about sharing with you amazing recipes, and I'm using only very simple ingredients which are locally available to ensure that we get the best flavor from the meals that we are preparing. So if this is the content that you like, kindly please subscribe to my channel and ensure you like the video, and also you can watch my other videos and give them a thumbs up. You can see that the water has completely dried out, so we are going to remove the meat from the cooking pot and put it in a cleaner plate or bowl. We will start frying our onions. We're just going to put a little vegetable cooking oil, or you can just decide on amount that you want to use. And then we're going to put in our onions. And I'm using white onions, and the reason as to why I'm using white onions, you know, white onions is best used when preparing soups. And for this beef stew, we don't have spices, so I want to ensure that I use the best ingredients that we can, because we want to get the best flavor. And when you're frying the onions, ensure that you keep on turning them, because we don't want them to burn. And also we want the onions to turn their color evenly. We don't want some they have already turned color and some are not. So we want them to be evenly in color. After we have put in our meat, you're going to stir it nicely so that the onion and the meat can mix up very well. We are going to add in water. We are not going to put in too much water. Just put water until it is at the level with the meat. And the reason why I'm stirring is just want to ensure that everything is nicely incorporated. And then you're going to cover it and allow it to simmer until the water it is somehow dry, not completely dry, just somehow dry. The next step, you're going to add in our tomatoes. We are going to put in the tomatoes and then we spread them nicely in the cooking pot, and then we are going to add in water. Don't put too much water, and again you're going to put water until it is at the level with the meat stew. On preparing beef stew, one needs to be very patient because it takes a lot of time, more than an hour, and also it depends on the amount of meat you are using. The more the meat, the more the time. So in case you want to have beef stew, ensure that you start preparing it a bit earlier so that you take your good time on preparing the meat and you're going to have a very tasty meal. So ensure that you have enough time whenever you want to have beef stew as a meal, either lunch, dinner, or just any time that you need to have your beef stew. On adding water, ensure at this point that you put enough water because you're going to allow the meat to simmer for a maximum of 30 minutes. It will be ready. But it will also depend on the amount of meat that you are using. The more the meat, you're going to allow it to simmer for much more time. But the maximum time on preparing a beef stew, you're just going to allow it to simmer for a maximum of 1 hour. Your meat will be ready. So you're going to cover it and allow it to simmer for 30 minutes. After the stew has simmered half of our cook time, we are going to add in the mixture of cornstarch and water because we want to thicken our soup. At this point, you can add in more water if you need your stew to have more soup. I didn't add so much, so I just had to add a little, but it will depend on the amount of soup that you need. And then you're going to allow it to simmer for the remaining 15 minutes or until the meat has become tender. Remaining 5 minutes to our cook time, we are going to add in the green pepper, carrots, and the green peas because we want them to be crunchy. We don't want them to be very soft. I forgot to mention, guys, ensure that you check the description box about the ingredients I've used and also the measurements that I have used, and also more tips. I will have indicated them on the description box. Our beef stew is now ready. You can see how the soup is very thick. This is because of the cornstarch. So we are going to switch off our cooker and then we are going to put in the fresh coriander leaves, and then our meat stew is very much ready. Allow it to cool and it's ready to serve. And our beef stew is very much ready. One thing I can assure you guys, this beef was so tasty, was so yummy. Kindly please go and try out the recipe and follow the steps as per the video. You're going to get the best flavor as the one that I got it here. Somebody was laughing at me telling me, Mary, how are you eating green peas, minji, with ugali? Actually, I was to plate it with rice, but I came to notice later on that I don't have enough rice. So I just had to prepare it with ugali. But at the end of the day, we want to ensure that we get the best flavor, and that is what we got. If you have watched my video up to this point, thank you very much. I really appreciate. I would only like to ask you, kindly please go and try out the recipe and then you tell me in the comment section about the outcome. I really appreciate you guys and thank you so much. I will see you in my next video. For the spice lovers, I have done a video. Kindly please go and check it out. I'll put the link in the description box. See you there. Bye bye.